just like us, growing in years. We the goal to make a change of the world around your race. They've been able to set the pace.
Good evening and welcome to Youth Engage, your favorite leadership building program for the visionaries of this generation. Yes, we love the accolades, the comments, and of course, the constructive criticism which border on improving this program you love. Thank you so much. We promise you more thrilling times ahead.
Today, our focus is on the man whose marriage and accomplishments hold great message for all of us. He is the Prince of Ada Kingdom in Osun State, southwest Nigeria, Prince Michael Ayotunde Ponnle, whose wife, Mrs. Funke Ponnle, unfortunately passed on a few years ago. The Ponnle's testimony of individual and collective achievements for nearly 5 decades of their partnering decisions is a legacy worthy of emulation and will remain a source of inspiration to all couples, young and old, who wish to make it together with their marriages intact while running successful businesses alongside a rewarding social life. Welcome to another enthralling Youth Engage. Prince Michael Tunde Ponnle was born on the 24th of December 1939 into the family of late Chief Job Ponnle, the Alawe of Ada Kingdom, and Madam Oyaweola Awele Ponnle from the same community. Pa Michael Tunde Ponnle lost his mother at the age of 9. Michael Ponnle was a brilliant pupil, one of the best 3 in his class. After completing his primary school education in 1953, he imagined furthering his education at secondary school like other kids in the neighborhood. But his father could not afford the cost, despite the fact that he passed his common entrance exams to several secondary schools. He had to stay behind and think on other ways to further his education. He reluctantly settled for the Teachers Training College, TTC. In 1962, precisely 18 months after he completed his Teacher's Grade 2 course, he was admitted into the Polytechnic, Ibadan, to study electrical and electronics engineering. He later transferred his studies from the Polytechnic to the Post and Telecom Training School at Oshodi, Lagos, where he eventually completed his program. He worked briefly with a P&T school before getting married to his heartthrob, Princess Comfort Olufunke Ponnle ní Fábùnmi, on the 26th of April 1966 in Ibadan. Prince Tunde Ponnle, together with his wife, Princess Olufunke Ponnle, started their own company, MICCOM Engineering Works Limited, which later became MICCOM Cables and Wires Limited, which is the first cable wires company in Nigeria. Years after the MICCOM Cables and Wires Limited, Prince Tunde Ponnle and Princess Olufunke Ponnle also established the MICCOM Golf Hotels and Resort Limited, with an 8-hole golf course attached to it, as well as recreational and resort centre. Apart from MICCOM Cables and MICCOM Golf Hotel and Resorts Limited, the Ponnles have established other businesses including Ladiet Ventures Limited, Comic Holdings Limited, a property management and development company, and Cash King in Cardiff, Wales, all business enterprises that have grown fast and become successful. Prince Tunde Ponnle serves as the chairman of Astor Paints and also chairman of Africana Breweries, makers of Castle Beer. He's also served as the chairman of West African Portland Cement, WAPCO. During his tenure as the chairman, he introduced the MICCOM Scholarship Awards for the children of WAPCO staff to encourage and stimulate staff loyalty to the company. This scholarship still runs. He and his wife are blessed with 4 children and many grandchildren. Welcome to the world of Prince Michael Ayotunde Ponnle. Welcome to Youth Engage.
Can you tell us briefly about yourself, like growing up? And
I am Prince Engineer Tunde Ponnle, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and I have a federal government award, OFR. I am born here in Ada about 77 years ago, and I had my early education here, and I'm back here after I retired from, can I say, active service. I've had a very rough beginning, but at the end, with the glory of God and hard work, I am what I am.
During your time, how was growing up like?
Well, like I said, I had a fairly rough beginning. I lost my mother at the age of 8, and my father had 2 other wives, and I was left in the care of one of them who did not treat me fairly well, but my dad was helping. Anytime my dad was traveling, he used to trade in clothes. He would give me money in case you are not well treated. Use this money for your welfare. So I more or less grew up. I had a sister from my late mother who died almost immediately. So I grew up all alone. But I thank God I was very brilliant in school. So
Sorry, we picked up from a profile that after elementary school, your dad didn't want you to go to school again. And so after you started going, what was your relationship with your dad after that?
no, not really. It was before I started schooling at all. My dad didn't want me to. But because I was very useful to him on the farm, so he didn't want me to go to school because I had a brother that went to school. So one of his friends now forced him because he saw how dedicated I was on the farm and how serious I used to be, that look, this boy must go to school. And that's what forced my father to send me to school. But after that, and seeing that I was doing well in school, he did all he could to get me up to, at that time, a grade 3 teacher training college.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. But still, about your childhood, we would just like to know a little bit more. Were you more of, what we would say, maybe a troublesome child, or you were just, like you said, you were a very brilliant child, maybe you were just about the books, or you used to be quite some trouble at home then?
No, for me, there was no time for me to be troublesome. First, there was no mother to depend upon. So I've got to be very humble for my stepmother to take care of me. I didn't want to stop school. So I knew I was behaving well, helping my father, even on the farm when I was going to school. So rascality didn't come my way at all.
Profile that in school, like even now in school, we're only taught the theory aspect. That you went a step further to learn the practical aspect. Do you think that's what led to them giving you a scholarship? How was the educational process like?
Unfortunately, I didn't have the privilege of scholarship until I was at the Technical College, Ibadan. In those days, to go to teacher training was the best you could do around here, because teachers are held in very high esteem. So the ambition of my father was to send me to a teacher training, which he managed to do. But then my classmates, who are not as brilliant as I was, went to secondary school. And each time we came on holidays, we met here in the village, they would be talking about chemistry, physics, and so on. So, and I would be left alone, you know. So I know that I must study science on my own. So while I was preparing to go to grade 2 teachers, I was also preparing to take what we call GCO level. And at that time, there was what we call Rapid Result College. It's a prepared home course, prepared in UK. And then we will apply. They will be sending us the tuition, and then they will be sending us exam by correspondence. So that's how I started my science until I went to St. Luke's College. At St. Luke's College, I was studying for my teacher's grade 2. I was studying for my O level on my own with the tuition. So at the end of it, when I started, and those boys come from Kiriji College, from Oyo Boys High School, and they were talking about physics and chemistry, I would join them. So I didn't used to study the teacher's course very well. I concentrated on those science subjects. But by luck and by hard work, I had 5 subjects at GCO level, and I passed my grade 2 teachers. At the same year, my colleagues also took their school SAT. So we were at level, and I was above because I had a teacher training certificate. So that's how it is up to that point. You want more?
Yes.
So then I had my O level, less English. And it's compulsory you pass English before you proceed at that time. So the second year, which was my first year as a teacher, I took the English, I passed, and took the entrance to Ibadan Technical College, and I passed. So I taught only for 1 year and plus months before I went to study electrical engineering at the Polytechnic Ibadan. And my problem was I was seeing laboratory for the first time at the Polytechnic. So I had to do extra job, extra learning. And here is a teacher going into a technical college at the same time without seeing a lab before. So I did it successfully. And while I was doing it, there was this opening at P&T School, Oshodi. That one, I opted for it because they would be paying me salaries, which I was not enjoying at the Polytechnic. So I switched over from electrical to electronics at the P&T School then. And my second year at P&T School, I took all their city and GIS exams and passed. So they had to withdraw me. The then NET, Nigerian Telecommunications, they had to withdraw me to the engine room at Marina because they thought I would be wasting time with my colleagues in the school. So then they started to treat me as a staff, no, as a student staff. And at the same time, they now went to employ some Nigerians from Britain. And those Nigerians didn't have as much qualification as I have passed at the P&T school. And I was asking for upgrade, which they didn't give me. That's why I switched over to the University of Ife, Ibadan. Branch as a senior assistant technical officer, electronics. So when I got there, if you have been to a university environment, until you get a degree in the university, they will treat you as a second-class citizen because that is academic all through. So I went there as a technician. So, and they were treating me as a second-class citizen. So I pick up, I said, yes, I must have a degree. So I started to read, and after about 2 years as a senior assistant technical officer, I had a scholarship. And that was my first scholarship to UK to study electronics. So I was at the Polytechnic of North London. That I was in, it's now the University of North London. And that's where I was there. That's where my wife joined me. And along the line, after I left the net, that's Nigerian Telecommunications, then I got married. My wife was also a very brilliant woman. So he saw that I studied, and she was a teacher too. So she saw how I was studying something engineering. She joined me. So, and I used to teach her, this is what I did, this is what you should do. After I spent a year in UK, she joined me. And because I was doing well at the Polytechnic of North London, she too enrolled. And because before he left Nigeria, she passed O level, not in any science subject, but they saw that she has a grade 2 teachers, she has a diploma, and O level. They admitted her. And she became the best student, women student. And that was, she was about the first set of women they employed in that polytechnic.
Wow.
So they gave her also a scholarship. So, and she was doing so well that the school, the Polytechnic of North London, went to Nigerian embassy. Because at that time, Nigerians complained that they were being treated badly in schools. Now they now saw a Nigerian that was doing very well. Now they now wanted to advertise themselves. So they came, the Nigerian embassy came to the school. They saw her as a model student, and I remember the publication about her was a woman pace setter in UK. That's how we started, and we came back, and that's how we started working. That's about education.
Sir, how do you combine your home with your vast business?
Because the home and the business were being set up at the same time. When we came back from UK, I started as a technical officer with the Western State government. My wife started as an engineer with Made Electronics in Lagos. And we had 2 children before we left for UK. We were matured students. Because we were married, we had 2 children. And we left 2 children with my mother-in-law. And when we came back, we took them. So we took them from my mother-in-law so that we could give them the best training. So while we were struggling on our own to find our feet, we took along our children too. My wife would come from work and set up a lesson. She would be teaching them because she was a teacher herself. That's how we started, and we started this MyCom company. In the MyCom factory, there is an office we designated as a classroom. When all the children come from school, they will, their mama will, she will go and pick them in the school, put them in the classroom, in that office. After some rest, she will start the lesson again. And that's how all of them grew up. They grew up, one, knowing the factory environment, and they grew up very brilliantly. So it's in between business and home. Because we leave home in the morning, 2 of us went to the factory, and we come back together. now with the children. So well, that's how we were working.
Since you've started talking to us, you've been making mention of your wife, your wife, your wife. Then we know that your wife is such a great woman, an icon. And through the length of your story, you know that you had like a partnership with her, that everything you did it together. That that motivates me. It makes me understand that your woman is a woman of great qualities. Can you like share some qualities to inspire women out there? And I also read in your profile that your wife sponsored you, that when she had a car, she like gave it to you, you made use of the car. That is something youth of today would not do. So sir, tell us
Yeah.
more about your wife.
Look, we started together, and I told you she was a very brilliant lady. So when we came back, you know, and before I took a scholarship and went ahead of her, we were sharing the same purse. When I bring my money and she brings her, we put it, take food money, and then she will say, okay, Tunde, how much do you want for your pocket money? And like all women, I hope you will grow to be a matured woman. You talk about girlfriend, boyfriend, imaginary. Some men don't have girlfriends, so, but women will say, and that's what spoils most homes. But with my wife, he would say jokingly, okay, take this, not the one you will spend to your girlfriends. Okay, that's how we were sharing money, even before we had plenty of money. So we will do that. And then that's how we went to do UK. From my money before, she's an uncommon type of woman, right? She will help as the husband. She put her money down for me to share, to join together. You know, not many women of these days will do that. So we were managing until, in fact, she advised me to start my com. Now look, since I am in paid job, you start my com, start to struggle. Because anybody that saw us at that time, even in UK, thought we would start a business, husband and wife business. So when we came back, we were working towards that. And I tell you an incident. When we came back, we brought a Peugeot car. So one day, we were even coming to this village, and the car got knocked. So I had no car. With this business, I had no car. But one day, she just came and said, look, my dear, they want to give me a car at work. I said, how can they give you a car without applying? I said, no, they want to give me a car. You know, the third day she came home with a brand new Toyota, that small Toyota, is it Hilux or something? Toyota. She came home with a brand new car. And we thank God. He said, look, when you take me to work in the morning, then you use the car to do the running around of the business. So we were doing that, not quite 2 months. Our colleagues raised query. They look, we bought the car for this woman. Is the husband using it? So they were making query with her. And she said, look, my husband has me and has the car. If you cannot let my husband use the car, then either take your car or you let me resign. So they were pushing it. The then chairman of the company knew our worth. Said, okay, let the husband use the car, provided it doesn't disturb our work. So my wife left the car. Sometime, you know, when I have an appointment with the car in the morning, she would take a taxi to work. So we were doing that, but like a man too, I gave her all the opportunities. You know, as an engineer, she was working with men. They call her by first name, but that didn't bother us because we had understanding. We had love. So she was, all close to her colleagues and so on. So one day, she got a better job and she was to resign. And these people the management of her former company did not raise any query, not knowing they were waiting for her last day. So her last day, they said they want to take the car unless she paid the balance. And I was out of town, and because we were keeping the same account, she signs as I sign. She just went to the bank, took a check leaf, write the check, sign, and pay the money. Look, the whole factory at that time, made the electronics, were surprised. Some people said they learned a lesson, that it is not man alone that should control the purse. But I don't think it's happening these days. Everybody controls their purse. So that is the advantage. She just paid for the car while I was away. And that happens even when we had money and we were running this big business. So we had everything in common. My wife will stay in the factory. She knows everybody in the factory, every worker. I didn't. Because my whole work is to come to the office in the morning and go out to look for contracts and do marketing. She knew everybody in the factory. I tell you what.
Today. For comments and contribution, you can log on to the website www.youthengageprogram.com or select any of our other social media platforms. Youth Engage is a teen neighborhood project brought to you by Abraham Oyedele Productions Limited and other partners.
Life to us is like a book to read, like a record waiting to be broken. They are truly role models and no examples to celebrate. We are hoping to be like them someday. Greater heights to achieve. We'll treasure every word they say.